Destroying your most beloved idea is the only path to wisdom. Reality is your only judge. Now, that sounds brutal, I know, but it's the single most important lesson I've ever learned. If you only take one thing away from me, make it this. Now, forget the complex financial models. Forget the fancy market predictions. Just carve this sentence into your brain and repeat it to yourself every morning when you wake up. The human brain is the most unreliable partner you'll ever have. It's ironic, isn't it? The very tool you rely on to make a living is your greatest enemy. By its very nature, it is lazy and profoundly arrogant. It loves its own ideas the way a doting mother loves her most hopeless child. It will automatically filter out information it doesn't like and amplify any evidence that makes it feel good. The psychologists have a fancy name for it: confirmation bias. I call it the instinct for self-destruction. Charles Darwin was a bona fide genius, but his genius wasn't that he could dream up grand theories. It was that he knew how to fight the demon in his own mind. He had a habit. The moment he encountered any observation or piece of evidence that contradicted his theories, he would write it down. Immediately, he knew that if he didn't, his brain would conveniently forget that inconvenient little fact within half an hour, or worse, twist it into something that supported his original view. That, my friends, is intellectual honesty. It's an exceedingly rare quality. In the investment business, if you lack that quality, you're no different from a drunkard at a poker table. The moment you buy a stock, you cease to be an objective analyst. You become a fan, a cheerleader. You start searching for good news about the company. You pat yourself on the back when you see a buy rating. And you treat the CEO's tired cliches at the annual meeting like gospel. All the while, your brain is lying to you, whispering in your ear, "You were right. What a brilliant decision you've made." This is the fastest path to the poorhouse I've ever seen. The investment idea you cherish the most, the one you're most emotionally attached to, is precisely the most dangerous one. It's the one that most needs to be strangled in the crib by your own hands. The polar. My way of working is the polar opposite of most people's. When I get an idea I think is brilliant, my first instinct isn't to find more reasons to confirm how brilliant it is. My first instinct is to immediately and deliberately seek out the smartest, most articulate people I can find who hold the exact opposite view. I'll invite them over or give them a call and say, "Look, I'm thinking about buying this thing for reasons A, B, and C. Now, please tell me where I'm wrong. Hit me with your best shot. Try to tear this idea to shreds." You have to understand, my goal isn't to persuade him. There is no greater waste of time than trying to change a smart person's mind. My goal is to see if my idea can withstand the most rigorous, brutal assault. This process is painful, excruciatingly so. Nobody likes to be told they're an idiot, especially after you've invested a ton of time and emotion into an idea. Your ego will scream. Your brain will instinctively want to fight back to defend itself. This is when you have to tame that beast. Your only job is to listen. Listen carefully and understand every link in their argument. Their attacks are like a surveyor checking the hull of your ship. Every hole they find is a future shipwreck they're helping you avoid. If, after round of the fiercest attacks, then my idea is still standing, if its core logic hasn't been demolished, only then does my confidence in it truly grow. This kind of confidence doesn't come from my own wishful thinking. It comes from having survived the most brutal real-world stress test. It stops being just my opinion and starts getting a little closer to the truth. Most people never learn this. They build their investment portfolios like they're founding a religion. They treat the company's founder like a god and the numbers on the financial statements like scripture. They form clubs and online groups, gathering with people who think exactly as they do, reinforcing each other's beliefs day in and day out. They think they're doing research. In reality, they're just huddling together for warmth. They build a soundproof echo chamber where the only voice they can hear is their own. It feels great, doesn't it? It feels like you're a genius who has uncovered a fundamental truth of the universe. But reality is a cold, merciless bastard. It doesn't give a damn about your feelings. While you're basking in your echo chamber, changes in the real world. The evidence that refutes your thesis are quietly eating away at the foundations of your portfolio like termites. And then one day, a sudden storm, a massive loss, will blow your entire house of cards away. When that happens, reality will teach you a lesson you'll never forget. The tuition for that lesson might just be your life savings. Many people go broke without ever understanding what killed them. They'll blame the market, the Fed, the damn short sellers. They'll blame everyone and everything except themselves. They never realized that the killer was their own cherished, coddled, and unchallenged idea. Remember, your goal is not to prove that times are right. There is no word more toxic in this game than I. The moment you tie an idea to your own ego, you're finished. You cease to be a judge seeking truth and become a lawyer whose only job is to defend their client, the idea. Your goal is to get as close to the truth as possible and then bet accordingly. To do that, you need tremendous intellectual honesty and courage. You need to fall in love with being wrong. Yes, you heard me right. Asterisk, love it, asterisk. Every time you discover you've made a mistake, you should be happy. You've just cleared one more piece of garbage out of your head, and you're one step closer to the truth. That's more worthy of celebration than making money. The making money is just the outcome. Building the right thinking habits is what allows you to keep making money. I know a very successful fellow. I asked him for his secret. He told me he keeps an error journal. Every time he makes a mistake in investing or in any important decision, he writes it down in detail. He writes down what he was thinking at the time, why he made that decision, and where his thinking later proved to be wrong. He reviews this journal regularly, not to beat himself up, but to learn from it and ensure he doesn't trip over the same stone twice. This is the difference between the professional and the amateur. The amateur is always thinking about how to win. They chase the thrill of being right every time. The professional thinks about how to time survive asterisk. They are obsessed with building a system that gives them a long-term edge. And the core of that system is the constant, ruthless, systematic elimination of their own ignorance. So, what should you do? It's simple. Take that stock in your portfolio you love the most. Write its name down on a piece of paper. Then, force yourself to write down 10 reasons why you should sell it. Go find articles written by the most bearish critics of that company and read every single word. Find that friend who's been telling you for years that the company is a bubble. Take him out for a meal and ask him to explain his reasoning again. And while he's talking, shut your mouth and open your ears. Your brain will feel extremely uncomfortable. That's normal. It means you're doing something right. You're forcing it out of its comfort zone to confront the reality it has been trying so hard to ignore. It's just like working out. The exercises that make you sore are the ones that are actually making you stronger. Intellectual growth is the same. It requires painful stretching. Don't treat this as a one-time exercise. It needs to become an instinct, a mental habit. Whenever you hear an idea that excites you, your first reaction should be, okay, that sounds interesting. Now, what's the best argument against it? You have to act like a detective, skeptical of every piece of evidence presented to you, especially the evidence you love. Think about it. A doctor who only looks for symptoms that support his initial diagnosis while ignoring contradictory science is a quack. He'll kill patients. An engineer who only calculates the data that proves his bridge design is safe while ignoring data that reveals potential stress points will build a bridge that collapses. Why in the world would you think that in investing a field with even higher stakes, you can get away with only listening to the good news? The world is a tapestry of countless interwoven complex systems. No single simple idea can ever fully describe how it works. Every idea in your head is just a crude model, a rough approximation of reality. Your job isn't to fall in love with your model. Your job is to constantly bash it against reality, to refine it, and, when necessary, to throw it out and build a better one. This is what Charlie Munger and I have been doing our whole lives. We never pretend to know what the future holds. Just try to be a little less stupid today than we were yesterday. The secret to our success isn't that we're so smart. It's that we are better than most at acknowledging our own ignorance. We spend a huge amount of our time reading and thinking, studying the successes, and more importantly, the failures of the past. Not looking for a formula to predict the future. They're trying to build a lattice work of mental models in our heads, composed of the big ideas from all the important disciplines. You encounter a problem. You can then examine it from multiple perspectives, from economics, from psychology, from physics, from history. That way, you won't be like the man with only a hammer, to whom every problem looks like a nail. The whole picture, the dimensions that are invisible to the one-trick pony. And one of the most critical functions of this lattice work is to help you find the holes in your own ideas. The psychological models will tell you when you're falling for confirmation bias. The historical models will remind you how many times similar manias have led to epic collapses. The physics models will help you understand concepts like critical mass and feedback loops in complex systems. The very process of building this lattice work is a process of constantly destroying your own preconceived notions. Every time you learn a new, powerful model, it will challenge and even overturn many of your old beliefs. That's a good thing. It means you're growing. People with only one or two mental models live in a rigid world. They can't understand change, and they will eventually be steamrolled by reality. So, stop being the fool who falls in love with his own ideas. Your ideas are worthless. What's truly valuable is your time's process, times for testing, challenging, and, when necessary, destroying your own ideas. That process is your most precious asset. It's what will keep you cautious when others are greedy and allow you to see opportunity when others are fearful. Let you cut through the market noise and see the underlying business reality. Let me say it one last time. Reality is the only judge. It swings a giant hammer, passing ruthless judgment on everyone's ideas. You can hide in your echo chamber for a little while and enjoy the peace and quiet. But you can't hide forever. Reality's hammer will eventually fall, and when it does, no amount of excuses or regret will bring your money back. The path to wisdom is a lonely one. It requires you to fight against the most deeply ingrained human instincts. It requires you to look for danger when everyone else is singing victory songs. It requires you to calmly calculate value when everyone else is panic selling. It requires you to utterly banish your ego from the decision-making process. It's hard, damn hard. But it's also why truly successful investors are, and always will be, a tiny minority. They don't win because of their IQ. They win because of their discipline and their character. They have the courage to face truths they'd rather not face, and the honesty to admit when they are wrong. This is the only way. There are no shortcuts. There is only the daily, painful, but absolutely essential grind of mental discipline. Now, turn off the financial news, put down that market forecast, and go find the voices that will destroy your ideas. It will be the most valuable investment you ever make.